Hi, Miranda. I'm glad we could make this time to spend together. I know that it was a little hard to squeeze all this in, but I understood that you really wanted to have some time to talk today. So this is kind of a short session, if that's okay. And tell me about your week. I understand you've had a hard time this week. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. It's okay. Here you go. It's okay. You just start whenever you're ready. I knew that you were hurting or you wouldn't have called me in the first place.
It has been a hard week.
It's okay. Just take your time. I know we've talked before about you were having some relationship issues. And is that the direction that we're going? Is that what's made the week hard?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Tell me what's happening.
Well, my boyfriend is very sick mentally, and it's just kind of been a up and down roller coaster, you know. There's high times and low times, and seems like anymore the majority of the time is very low. And being someone who has suffered from mental illness myself, it's just been really hard on me. And he currently lives with me, and actually as of tomorrow, he himself has made the decision to move out.
Okay. All right. Well, let's give you a chance to kind of just collect a little bit. So your boyfriend, you've been together how long?
2.5 years.
Okay. And have you lived together that long?
No. He just moved in about 4 or 5 months ago, and kind of the lowest point, you know, of his mental state that I had seen him. I just thought it would maybe make things better for him to move in with me and kind of, you know, have more interaction. I have 2 other roommates, and I thought, you know, it wouldn't be so sad and dark around his home anymore, and it might lift his spirits a little bit. So at that point, he moved in.
Okay. Just so I'm sure that I understand what you meant by that, because I hear you say that he moved in more for his mental health sake. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not because that was the natural progression of your relationship, though you'd obviously been together by that time a couple of years, right?
Yeah, he moved in for his own mental state, not for our relationship.
Okay, so just and we won't go there a great deal today because I'm not sure. Maybe that's all. Maybe that's not as important right now, or maybe it is. Well, maybe it is. Tell me something about when he moved in. Was that a happy time?
Not really, no. It was really sad for me. I think it started out kind of being happy and hopeful for him, um, being a Christian woman and being raised in a home with pretty solid morals of how things are supposed to, what order things are supposed to go in. Um, I didn't really intend on ever living with a male and like this until marriage. Um, but where the current situation that we were in and what we were dealing with, it just seemed like maybe, you know, I needed to put my own morals aside and do what was best for him.
So if I could maybe use one word to lump in what brought you together at that point, the moving in part, would it be right to call that an intervention in a way? That you,
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. And maybe you've not thought about it that way. It just sounds like to me that, in other words, it wasn't romance, or it wasn't, at least on your part, though you obviously cared for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was just, I mean, yeah, I guess it could have been an intervention. I guess I didn't really think about that or wasn't focusing on that as much as just what can we do to try to make his life a little easier, to make, you know, his days a little brighter.
Okay. For looking at just that,
Mm-hmm.
was any of that successful? I mean, did he beat some of? I'm assuming he had some demons, or there were some things.
Yeah.
You've called him. You've mentioned mental illness. So, is there anything positive about him moving in?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, you know, at the point he was the day that he moved in all honesty, probably kind of on the verge of being suicidal. I do think that, you know, him being able to have me here to kind of, you know, give him company so he's not alone, you know, having meals prepared for him and a helping hand,
Sure.
Did definitely kind of pull him out of that slump.
You were able to nurture him during that time and during the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, at least you feel fairly secure that your initial concerns
are down.
Okay, we're taken care of. But you're obviously pretty tore up at this point. Tell me what you're very distraught, and I can see that you're very upset. I'm sure you have right to be. Can you tell me what's brought you to this point? What's brought you to him now moving back out? Is this signaling an end of the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Really at this point we just have kind of our relationship romantically has just kind of hit a stopping point. You know, our relationship kind of, it turned into no longer a romantic relationship as much as a dependent relationship. My boyfriend Ian just, I think, really started to look at me as more of a friend. I think that we just kind of became dependent on each other's company to be there. He became comfortable with the idea that, you know, I'm not going anywhere, I'm here at his convenience. And I think that, you know, he switched up some medicine. He got on a different antidepressant a couple weeks before he moved in. And it's just really changed him as a person. And I just think that just kind of crumbled at our feet.
Okay.
I don't know.
From in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been together 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me something good.
Something good.
Let's go back to the beginning. What made you seek him out?
Well, Ian asked me on a date. That was how we met. We met at a friend's house, and he asked me if he could take me out to dinner. Me and Ian just really clicked. We really bonded. We really enjoyed each other's company. And our relationship, really, from the beginning, started off of just, you know, really a very solid friendship. We were romantic as far as,
Mm-hmm.
the normal boyfriend girlfriend things. We didn't have sexual relations though until halfway through our relationship. So I think that, we started off on a really good but we didn't ever argue. We just had a really good time anywhere that we went.
Okay. So he met some expectations for you of what was a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're how old?
I'm 22.
Okay. When you began your relationship with Ian, what was the expectation? Tell me about that. Were you looking for just someone, like you said, friendship and a good, good bonding, and someone to go to parties with, someone to have fun with, or was there more to what you wanted out of that relationship?
I was looking for a husband. I told Ian on the first date that that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a husband. I wasn't looking to be a girlfriend forever. I wasn't looking for, a cuddle friend or anything like that. I was looking for a husband.
Okay. And not, you've dated for a few years, so I'm assuming you weren't rushing the husband part. Is that right?
No, I wasn't rushing it. I kind of hoped it would naturally happen on its own. But
was there something in the relationship that gave you hope during the time you were together? Something that made you feel like this is going. Did he say or do anything that made you feel like that marriage was imminent? And
Ian and I never really spoke openly about marriage a whole lot. It seems like guys kind of stray away from the idea of marriage. He did tell me on our first date that, he respected the fact that I was looking for a husband, and he was also not just dating, for fun, that he would like to have a wife and children someday also. Little by little throughout our relationship, he would make little comments about marriage or things like that, but it wasn't anything, we didn't have our wedding planned out or anything, no.
Okay, not any time really during the course of your time together. Okay. Would you say that's made you very sad? That wasn't your intention for dating, in other words?
No.
Okay. I guess my next question would be, what brought you to this day or to tomorrow? You've dated and been relatively happy. There's been some struggle in his life. with some mental illness, and I'm assuming that that was something you maybe didn't know at the beginning, but became pretty evident as your relationship went on.
You know, in the beginning, I think we're oftentimes blinded um, by the things that we want to see rather than what's really right there in front of us. A lot of Ian's mental illness leads back to his dad passing unexpectedly a few years back. And I knew that Ian was sad about it. I knew it was a topic that was touchy, a topic that he didn't speak of. Matter of fact, Ian didn't even tell me how his father died until about somewhere between 3 and 4 months after we started dating. And then when he did tell me, it was a very short version of it. I think I kind of knew that he was very saddened by it, that it, kind of hit a sore spot, but I did not understand the extent of it.
Okay.
Or did not see the extent because I wasn't with him on this regular of a basis.
Right, at least at the beginning. Right. Okay.
Our relationship started very slowly.
Okay. And do you know if he had up till that point had he seen counselors, or was there something that made you think, this is just all normal, but he's getting help, or is there anything like that?
No, Ian didn't see a counselor for his dad passing. He had saw a counselor in his early childhood regarding his father. His father was an alcoholic.
I see.
And he had received counseling as a child for that, but not for the death of his dad, no. I just simply did not see how sick he really was, and I think that it has progressed a lot, too.
You said he's taking medication, so he's seen someone, an MD or a counselor?
About 6 months ago, when he just really hit rock bottom, I told him that he needed to go and see somebody. And through the job that he had at the time, he was able to go and speak to a psychiatrist.
Okay.
He went 3 times, and they did put him on medication, and they put him on a Lexapro, an antidepressant.
I see. You said 3 times, like that didn't seem adequate to you.
No. I'm not sure that, I think Ian needs extensive therapy.
Okay.
I don't think that 3 times, I'm not sure 3 times was enough for the therapist to know him. I didn't understand the extent of his depression for almost a year.
I see.
I'm not sure the therapist could see anything wrong with him.
And
in 3 times.
Ian decided to quit going because of his job in insurance situation.
Yeah, he changed jobs and he lost the insurance for that particular therapist.
Had you talked to him about that? Were you willing to try to help him continue to go?
I told him I would pay for it out of pocket. I told him we could go and talk to the counselor at our church.
So free counseling.
Free counseling. It wasn't a psychiatrist or anything like that, but it was a therapist, and I was sure that they would refer us to somebody else if a time came for that, and he refused. Okay. He did not want to do that.
Okay, that's a pretty strong word, refused. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like
I'm sorry. I know it's really hard to sort it all out.
it made me feel like he didn't care about his life.
Okay. And that hurt you because
because I felt like I was putting all my time and energy into trying to fix him or make him better. Because I wanted good things for him, and I felt like he wasn't reciprocating in any way. And I know that that's part of being depressed, though. I understand that.
Sure. Sure. You, I want to touch on one other little thing because our time is almost up. We haven't really talked about who made the decision that he should move. Oh,
Tissue,
I'm
please.
sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, that's okay. It's all right. Was it a mutual decision?
I think that on several occasions, me and Ian had seriously talked about calling our relationship quits on several occasions. Not that either of us wanted to do that, but I don't know. I guess I felt like this should be one of the happiest times of my life, and instead I kind of felt like I had become a mother overnight to a child who was very ill. And I think it was semi-mutual. I think Ian started growing apart from me, and I think he started pushing himself away because he saw how it was hurting me and how it was affecting me. And I do think that Ian cares about me a lot. I think he respects me. And I think that he kind of started isolating himself, and I was just so exhausted that I just kind of let him, I guess.
So,
Not realizing that it was actually going to come to this point, it just kind of got here.
so in truth, if I'm reading between the lines a little bit, and this could be totally wrong.
I would say it's mutual.
Okay. And you haven't asked him, please don't go.
No.
Okay. All right.
I've actually, he doesn't really want to move out. He wants to stay. He doesn't want to continue on with a romantic relationship per se. He just
Wants to stay and be your roommate.
wants to stay and be my friend.
Okay. That would be emotionally conflicting.
It's hard for me. It hurts me. As much as I don't want him to go, I think that for my life, if he is no longer willing to try to get better, I can't stay. And since I don't have a ring on my finger and I'm not married, I just think it's inappropriate, and I think that it will actually be more emotionally damaging for me to keep him here rather than to let him go. And so I have never told him that he needed to move out. However, I have kind of picked in pride at, when do you think you're going to be leaving? How many days till you're going to be leaving? Things like that.
I see. So.
And I've told him that it's hard on me.
So no big. I'm sure there have been strain and tension, but not like it was a huge big fight and
no, we've
throwing
never
things
argued.
and. Okay. Well, I see that as a positive. Not very many people could could sum up a 2.5 year relationship and end it that easily. Is the relationship ended for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that makes you feel.
It hurts me. I said it earlier that we're kind of dependent on each other, and we are. We kind of feed off of each other's emotions, and he truly is my best friend, and I think he feels the same way, and I think that's why he doesn't really want to leave. Um,
So you're both left a little bit undone.
yeah, a little empty, but I I do feel at peace with it. I think it's time. I think it's what we need to do. I'm nervous because I obviously still care about him deeply, and I'm worried that if I'm not there to, make sure he's taking his medicine every day, or, how he's feeling, who is going to be there, and I am worried about what the future holds for him.
Sure.
But I just feel like I can no longer put my own life at risk when.
And that's what you felt like,
Uh-huh.
that you were at risk.
Uh-huh. I felt like my mental health was deteriorating with this.
Okay. Well, we're not going to solve everything today, but I would like for you to think, so that we can close out, I'd like for you to think of a real positive, the very best thing that this relationship has either brought you, or even that the closing of the relationship is bringing. What's the very best thing?
It's taught me how to love myself.
Okay. All right. You take all the time you need. I'm going to shut our camera off, okay?